Okay. Do we just get infinite, infinite conversations of Violet? We just keep staying here forever? One more, third time's the charm. I've been thinking about Andy a lot lately. Well, she's pretty hard not to think about. Every time I'm in pain, there's still a part of me that kind of blames her for it. Even if something as mundane as stubbing my toe, I still have this weird impulse to chew her out for it. Well, I think we all kind of feel that way. It must be quite the burden to take on everybody's ire like that and not let it slow you down. Do you think it ever got to her? Maybe. I'm not sure if I've ever met anybody else less worried about being liked than Andy. We're lucky for that then. If she was anything like her sister, we probably would have died a long time ago. That seems a little extreme. What's so bad about Judy? No, I adore Judith. It's just, Andy forced us to get stronger, even at the risk of her being despised. Just look at Emil. The guy was made of glass bones and paper skin back in junior year. But now he's all, scared for life and bitter? He went to her for help, though. It doesn't mean he's not scared. I just suspect that she allowed herself to push us as hard as she did. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm so used to being called all the time. But we know Judith. She would never put herself in a position like that. Can't deny that Judith was always great at keeping everybody's morale high. But Andy really made us eat her spinach. The exception may be Emil. The rest of us are pretty average physically going into all of this. Andy probably knew that if we stayed that way, there'd be no chance of us surviving in the underworld. It's probably why she was always yelling melodramatic stuff like, "You want to die back there?" whenever we failed a push-up or something. I really used to hate her for that. I wanted to shout back at her to tell her that she was being arrogant and lording her strength over the rest of us. But looking back, I bet Andy knew from the start how dangerous all this would be, and that's why she pushed us so hard. Being that strict can't be an easy thing to do consistently. It might have been easy for her, though. Some people really aren't bothered by stuff like that. They're tough enough to handle being disliked, as long as it's not for nothing. Isn't that how it is for you? The fact we're all still alive might be more than enough to keep her happy. How do you think she would have handled it if Ashton actually lost his hand then? I'm not sure. I'm almost certain she would have cried. No way. Can't even picture something like that. She would have, though. If Andy had the best grasp on how dangerous all this shit was, then she probably would have suffered the most if something irreversible happened to us. She would have definitely felt responsible. She probably still feels responsible for us in some way. I wish I had thanked her more for all she's done before I had to leave. How do you even thank a person like Andy without being poked fun at? Not like you can buy her chocolates. You probably slapped them out of your hand saying they were too fatty or something. It's really sad you think that way about her, Oliver. Why? Because if that's really how the world views her, then it means she'll probably never been thanked properly for anything in her life. She'll always just continue to be this untouchable goddess of a woman. That sounds like a pretty lonely fate, don't you think? Okay. There's so much. It's not really relevant to the plot, I guess. This is a lot of like backstory and a lot of like side stories, I feel like. We could do this forever. I'm so curious. One more. Like, I want to keep doing this until there's no more, right? But how much is there? There could be like 100 of these little side stories. Time to keep on staying. Okay, one more. You're not a very competitive person, right? I've never been a fan of competition, no. I can't really think of many good reasons to waste time trying to prove myself. Why do you ask? Because you never take up any of Emil's challenges whenever he throws one out there for us. You always seem really disinterested in them, despite how adamant he is to have us compete. Even Judith got all heated up during that bake-off he hosted, and you're the only one of us that didn't enter that chess tournament back in June. You're not an idiot, V. He could have easily made it to the finals, and he was throwing down some serious cash. How come you never participated in any of the stuff he set up for us? Like I said, there's never a good reason to. If Emil wants to view himself as the most intelligent and skilled out of the 6 of us, and that's his prerogative. Even if a little humility might benefit him in the long run, it's not my responsibility to challenge the goals he has. I'm satisfied enough with keeping things simple. You're kind of starting to sound like a wet blanket. You aren't the least bit curious to see how you stack up against him? Nope. I don't believe you. Olive, even if I beat Emil at some stupid game, there's always going to be a bigger fish. There's always going to be people with better focus, greater intelligence, more devotion to their craft, whatever. So why would I lock all of my self-worth behind something that's almost completely out of my control in the first place? I love Emil to bits, but I don't understand the appeal of trying to subdue something that massive. It's like trying to capture a big white whale inside a tiny glass jar. But it's because the task is so daunting that it's even appealing in its first place. I think Emil is wise enough to know there's gonna be someone better than him, but that's why he keeps pushing himself. I may not approve of everything he does, but if Emil wants to be the best, then I think that's admirable. Well, I think it's dangerous. It's obvious just by talking with him that his fixation of subduing the impossible has bled into every aspect of his life. Could you imagine what a string of losses would do to somebody that infatuated with winning? Why even care about winning in the first place? Why care about competition? You know, I'm actually on Violet's side on this. Yeah, who cares? Who cares about like winning and being number one? You know, you can only stay number one for so long, even if you do make it. So like, what's the point? You know? If someone can feel satisfied themselves creating something instead, then why not spend your time doing that? And probably because it's not as fun, Violet. It's thrilling to see how personalities clash when locked in battle, you can't deny it. Just like my Japanese animes. Hell, whenever Emil faces off against someone, you're right there watching him with the rest of us. There's a drama, the true competition that creative endeavors alone can never capture. You know, it's like a debate of like single player games versus multiplayer games, you know? Anyway. Or like PvP games anyway. Centering your life around that drama sounds exhausting though. If there's that constant pressure to defeat the next person ahead of you, then when do you rest? When do you have time to create, or exercise, or form any sort of meaningful relationship? I think that's the big part of the challenge, but I'm sure it's possible. I'm not too worried about Emil. None of that stuff you talked about seems like much of an issue as long as you're okay with losing. Is Emil a good loser, Oliver? He always shakes my hand and smiles afterwards, so probably. Are those gestures all it really takes, though? What else is there? Forgiveness, mostly. I don't know. I just hope he can forgive himself for losing when it happens. Otherwise, he's gonna be chasing that whale of his for quite some time. There you go. A lot of like little side stories about the characters and all that. Interesting. Ah, man, I don't know. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna head out now. We talked for so long on this beach. I think I'm gonna leave. Alright, I've got promises to keep, so I think I'm gonna head out. Okie dokes, do what you need to do. Dream big out there, alright? I'll see you back at the house. We need to meet with Ashton, you know? We haven't met Ashton yet. He's been waiting so long at the burger joint. So long for us. The entire day even. Eating many burgers. And still, you know, still waiting for us. Anyway, let's go meet him. And it's like flamethrower back. Explode. Hey there, Oliver. Lovely weather we're having. Lovely weather? It's the same as always been, dude. What am I supposed to be? What am I even supposed to do with something that fake? I don't know. Strangely, it's always a transition where a stranger talks to us. You know? I guess again, it's supposed to kind of imply that what the characters did, right? At the end of their adventure, they destroyed something called the Seed, and that affected the entire town. And it seems like they're like, you know, they achieved their goal and everything, but Violet is the only one that's saying that it may not be a good thing. Right? Destroyed all of the bad emotions, you know, that humans have in this town. Made everyone into zombies. But again, only Violet is the one that's like worried about that. Everyone else is like, whatever. True to form, Ash is sitting outside of the crab bucket thumbing through his cell phone. It's kind of a weird sight, though, now that I think about it. I don't think we ever planned an exact time for meeting up. Yeah, so this is like kind of late in the day. Is he really cool with chilling out here in the heat for an indefinite period of time like this? What if I never showed up and got in some kind of crazy accident on the way over? Would he end up waiting for me all day? You know, it's kind of like a dog. For someone so explosive, this girl has... this girl? No, am I thinking he was a girl? No. This guy sure has the patience of a saint. But maybe there's... I don't know, gender swap version of him. Hey, dude. Greetings, friend. Is it true that you're paying for my steakhouse burger today? Think of it as a parting gift for always making you pay for my pizza during finals. But get water to drink or something, alright? The sodas here are like $3. No worries, I'll just do what I always do. You mean that thing with the sugar packets and the lemon slices? You know they get mad at us whenever you do that, right? Lemonade's on the menu, my guy. I promise they don't want you making it yourself. And Andy says you saw one of the cooks spit in our food the last time we did it. I doubt that's what happened. She just hates us eating here because the food is too greasy or whatever. Besides, I'm pretty sure the staff is used to it at this point. Right. Well, I'm hungry. Let's get some food. We make our way over to the group's regular table and browse the menus. The fatigue I feel from this morning is swelling inside my brain like a wart as the hiss of the nearby grills and chatter of the dinner patrons fries my already worn senses. We order quickly, both of us knowing the food itself is more of a formality than anything. We're not here to eat, we're here to talk. That's fine. All I gotta do is be a good friend and keep up the facade for one more day, and then we're good. The facade. Just one more day, then everyone will be fine. As soon as the too bubbly waitress leaves our table, Ashton turns my way. I gotta be real with you, man. Things were really boring before I met you. And even after that, I was still pretty sure that summer was gonna be lame. Yep, there it is. I took a pair of sugar packets out of the condiment stand and began making them dance. Because you were gonna work with your dad at B-Mobile before we began our little crusade, right? Ashton fiddles with the bandage on his wrist before eventually squeezing over his right hand. Basically, yeah. Siren's Call is a pretty boring place if you don't have anybody around to make it livelier, you know? I didn't want to drag you guys into anything too crazy, though. So, I was just gonna keep things simple and work with my dad until whenever. Ashton lifts his head and sits up straight, looking over his injury. Well, I never thought we'd end up becoming actual heroes. I appreciate all you did to help make that happen, dude. So, thank you. Okay, same choices as last time. Is it just me or is Oliver kind of irritated for some reason? Kind of weird. Why is he feeling that way? I don't know. I know that's what I should say. You know, that is what we picked last time in the first playthrough. But obviously, Oliver doesn't do what we say anymore. That's what I should say. I should let him reassure me, because that's what friends do. I should play dumb. Even though it's not exactly that, I know I should say something along those lines. Anything more honest would be devastating for him to hear, especially today. I'm the leader of the Midnight Guard. I'm his friend. Okay, the Midnight Guard. That's what they call themselves, I guess. Which makes sense. I get very much Persona, but like Persona 3 in particular. But like, you know, they go in at night, you know, at a particular time to go into the portal. Anyway. He looks up to me, so I should support what we've accomplished. I can feel myself twitch as I think that, like some sort of large animal, eager to throw itself into the warmth of a volcano. Making everyone happy is my purpose. I know this is my purpose. And yet... Please don't thank me for any of that, Ash. You can think whatever you want about yourself, but I'm not anything close to a hero. I don't think any less of you guys, but I'm not too proud of how I've handled things this summer. I'm sorry, Ash. I really am. But I just can't talk about heroics right now. It's too much. I'm just too exhausted. With that, the reality of what just happened sets in. For a moment, there's silence. The same silence that follows when a gallon of milk drops from your hands and explodes on the floor. Really. The kind of silence only born after something has broken. Okay, I get it. So Violet got to you pretty hard then, huh? Man, you know that just because you're dating somebody doesn't mean you gotta think exactly like them. You do know that, don't you? You don't gotta be her mouthpiece, dude. You can be your own man. You can be real with me. After all, we're like brothers at this point, right? Real, huh? I can be real with you, Ashton? Really? Even in a place like this, I can be real with you. Alright, good. That was all I needed to hear. Uh-oh. Whenever someone tells you, you know, it's like when somebody asks if this dress makes them look fat, you know, you can't... Anyway, he gave me permission after all. Okay, cool. I can be real now. Cool. Good to know. Well, let's start with the obvious stuff then. We don't even really know what the sirens are, and yet I gave the thumbs up to begin an entire campaign exterminating them. Why should I feel proud about that? Wait, what? That's not true. We know what sirens are. Emil says, bro, Emil doesn't even know how to do his taxes yet. I know you love the guy, but come on. We just got out of high school. We shouldn't be committing freaking genocide. Man, I don't even know what my major is going to be when I get to Asheville. If I don't even know something that basic, then how the hell would I know enough to justify the decimation of the entire foreign ecosystem? The truth is, I knew jack all about what we were doing. And yet, I still gave the okay on everything. And that's all on me, dude. That's all on me forever. Maybe we were right, and sirens really were just stupid monsters or whatever. Maybe that dumb little guess of mine was completely accurate. But what if we were wrong? What if they were something we should have just left alone? Left alone? What the hell, dude? Those things were goddamn monsters. We had to kill them. They were dangerous. So what? Huh? They were dangerous, but so what? We didn't want to kill them because they were dangerous. They were stuck on rocks in the middle of the underworld, Ash. If we really wanted to help people, we could have just destroyed the locker leading down there or something. Kinda hard to have something dangerous call out to you can't even hear, right? But no. I was bored and I wanted to be a hero, so we killed them. I should have just isolated them instead. I should have distanced myself. What? You mean run away? Seems like pretty chicken shit move, you ask me. You really cool with doing something like that, cowardly amigo? Cowardly. Ash, you're only brave if what you're choosing to do with yourself is actually necessary. But what we did in the underworld was just gratuitous. It didn't matter if they were dangerous. I could feel struggle and agony when I stabbed them. And when I pulled away, I could see their life force twitch and blip out of existence. And I would get slightly stronger. My experience would be slightly higher. I don't know for sure what they were, but it doesn't matter. Whatever they were, they didn't want to die. They didn't need to die. I could feel it. And I know you could feel it too. So yeah, lots for me to be proud of already. Dude, you're shouting. People can hear you. Keep it down. Oh, please. It's not like I'm disturbing them or anything. They can't feel anything negative now, right? I killed all the sirens, so everyone's happy now. I saved them. I saved everyone. So why not be proud of it, right? There's nothing to be ashamed of after all. I yelled that last part, if only to evoke a reaction from the people around me. But of course, nothing happens. Like shadows in the background of a painting. Everyone else in the dinner. I wonder what's for dinner. No, everyone else in the diner is static, unchanging in their idle chatter and pleasantries. See? Nothing. Turns out screwing around in the collective unconscious every night and killing what lives there has consequences. Not for us, of course, but whatever. Ashton slams his fists on the table and glares at me. I'm telling you, man. Shut up. You're not being rational right now. It doesn't matter what Violet thinks. There's gonna be real consequences if you keep running your mouth like this. What, you mean like jail? Please. We're the ones that saved everybody. We're heroes, just like you said. Sure, we didn't ask anybody if they wanted a huge chunk of their cognition wiped out, but who cares, am I right? We did the right thing, obviously. There's no way we'd actually be punished. Maybe a slap on the wrist for going above the heads of the cops, yeah, but nothing more than that. Heck, I doubt the cops can even conceptualize something negative as crime at this point. The only consequences for us are the ones we place upon ourselves. Which is why you guys kicked Violet out of the group. She wanted us to actually gets up from the table and pulls me out of my seat by the collar of my shirt. Hey, what did you say? Kind of skip that. I didn't skip that. The game skipped that. She wanted us to actually be accountable. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting sick of this crazy talk. None of that is why Violet's gone, and you know it. Wake up, man. This isn't how you're supposed to be. We live in Siren's Call. Siren's Call, Florida. It's not exactly Manhattan, you dig? Half of the people who live here are too chill to be angry about shit. They've always been like this. This stuff about killing their brains or whatever is all in your head. We did the right thing. I know we did. So stop trying to make me feel crap for saving people. I'm not trying to make you feel bad, Ash. Bullshit. Why else would you be running your mouth like this? You need to reel it back right now. It's really, really not cool. Not cool, bro. There's a tangible panic in those last few words Ashton says to me. It comes across as less of a threat and more of a plea. I know this face. I'm close now, aren't I? I'm close to reaching him in some way. I'm sorry, Ash, but there's still one more thing that needs to break if anything's ever gonna change. Okay, you're probably right. The people here aren't brain dead, they're just chill. I've been so busy with you guys all summer that I probably never even noticed. Yeah, exactly. It's the way things are here, you know? Especially in the summer. All the geezers and snowbirds are just sleeping from the heat. It makes sense. Oh, definitely. It's unlikely the stuff we did in the underworld had any drastic side effects. If it did, you probably would have noticed them by now. Yeah. Killing the seed would have affected everybody we know that lives here. Even the people we live with would have changed too, right? Ashton's face freezes in shock. Right. That reminds me. How's your dad be doing after all this? Is he still... I'm stopped before I can finish my sentence. The force of Ashton's fist sends me reeling across the table into a wall. The impact shoots some of the air out of my lungs, making it impossible for me to respond to what he says next. Dad's doing great. He's the happiest he's ever been. Thanks for asking. He hasn't had a drop of booze since July. He cooks dinner with me now too. Chops the potatoes and everything. Hell, yesterday, he even went on dawn patrol and got some waves together. You're right. It's like he's a completely different person. So, if I had something to do with that, then I refuse to think of myself as anything other than a hero. As he says this, I can feel air fill my lungs again. I grab the edge of the chair and pull myself off the floor. And you're really okay with all that? You're okay with such a drastic and irreversible change? Are you stupid? Of course I am. He hasn't been this much of a father to me since I was 12. That's because that's all he can be, Ash. It's the same how our waitress can only be a waitress now, or my mailman can only talk about the mail. Everybody in this town has been completely swallowed by their roles, because that's the only thing we didn't murder. I'm happy for you, dude. But are you really okay with your dad being your dad and nothing else? Are you cool with having every other part of who he is ripped away. We're not murderers. Well, we sure as shit aren't heroes. We don't need to be perfect, or you don't need to be perfect. Your dad doesn't need to be perfect. You didn't love him any less when he was depressed, right? Even after all this, you know he's still an incredible man. And you're still my friend. We can come back from this somehow. We can start fresh. We don't need to lie about. Shut up. I'm not starting all over again. Fuck, man. You're so much more likable when you weren't so goddamn preachy. So you know what? I'm gonna beat you until you go back to how you should be. Okay. As my friend's threat rings throughout the diner, a smiling waitress gently places her food and now disheveled table. Without another word, Ashton charges me. Real battle! I activate my muse! Go, muse, go! Star Platinum! No? Damn it, I can't do that. I can't summon Star Platinum. And go tactics. Ask your friends. You have no friends. Of course, you have no friends. That's funny. New gallery. Defend. Attack. Items. Items? Ah! Well, I have barely any time to react before Ash rushes me down. It's funny. It's like an actual JRPG battle, but obviously it's not. True to his word, he does what he does best and beats me up. Good. Amazing. Imagine like in Persona, one of your friends just beats you up. You're like in an RPG battle, but you can't actually do anything. I spend the rest of the day making my way over to the beach with my broken bones, hoping I'll find Violet there. Sure enough, she's in her normal spot, painting something on one of her larger canvases. Hey, Violet. Hey there, Olive Oil. I walk over and sit next to her in the sand. After a minute to her painting, Violet reaches a stopping point and looks over at me on the ground. Oliver, you didn't have a big purple bruise in the side of your face the last time I saw you. You got into some trouble recently, didn't you? Ashton kinda beat me up a bit, yeah. Beat you up with his muse, or beat you up in the more traditional sense? Old school. He just punched me a lot. I said some stuff he didn't like about the Midnight Guard, basically that I wasn't comfortable with him calling me a hero and all that. Then I asked how his old man was doing after we killed the Seed, and I think that might have set him over the top. Yep. Why am I not surprised? None of them are ready yet, are they? Damn it. Did you fight back? That why you're so beat up? I mean, yeah, kinda, but I really didn't want to. Then why did you? If you didn't want to and didn't need to, then why did you? I don't know, V. Instincts? What else was I supposed to do? The man was charging me down. No idea. I don't see what you had to gain by fighting him, though. I guess. Violet stops painting and gives me a light hug as she lowers herself into the sand. Sorry, Olive Oil. Honestly, in the heat of the moment, I probably would have done something similar. It's okay if you didn't handle things perfectly. You've got all kinds of time to make things right by you. Doesn't make you any less of a person if you made a mistake. Even mistakes can lead to something beautiful, as Bob Ross would say. Sometimes mistakes can lead to absolute disaster. We've experienced disaster, Oliver. An irreversible disaster. If this scuffle of Ash really was a disaster, then you would know immediately. But as it stands, all of this was just an hour badly spent. Forgive yourself. This loss of yours is no disaster. Damn it, V. You know I love that poem. Well, love that poem, at the very least. She runs her fingers through my hair, another sweet attempt to brush out these wistful, stagnant thoughts of ours. After doing that for a bit, she stands up and checks the sky. Still overcast then. Violet checks the time on her phone. Yep, no launch today, it seems. That's fine, that's fine. Just give it time. Like the missile that we saw in the beginning. And also, it's meant to be nighttime, but the sky is not nighttime. I don't know if that's intentional or not. But anyway. Come on, let's go home. You've got your future waiting for you in the morning, mister. So let's get ready for it. Vi and I go home and pack the rest of my things. After some time, Miss Lawrence pulls into the driveway. She says we shouldn't bother trying to make it to Orlando, however. Apparently, an absurd number of gopher tortoises move onto the runways of the airport right after Miss Lawrence got off her flight. Some environmental scientists on the radio point to unrestricted development in the surrounding area as the primary cause of their migration. Looks like I won't be leaving Siren's Call anytime soon. How unfortunate. Goodbyes failed. Try again. What? Yet again, we lose. Game over. Alright, and it just restarts, I guess. Another day in paradise. Guess I better get on it. Yeah, so this is kind of what happened in the first playthrough. You know, you didn't say goodbye to all your friends, and therefore, you know, it kind of restarts. Alright, so everything's kind of restarted. What's new? I mean, technically, we didn't have the option to, you know, meet up with Ashton, the second time around. It's kind of confusing. It's like multiple loops now, but, you know, we didn't have the option before. In the beginning, we only had that option later on. But now we can go to him directly from the beginning? I wonder if that affects me. I don't know. I can also, again, like, go to, you know, different places in different order. That's the thing you could do as well. I don't know. Let's see. You know what? Let's go to her first. Let's see what happens if I go to her first. I'm assuming it's the same, but... Hey there, V. And she's like... Nah. Okay, interesting. Why is she like... Why is she like part of the time loop, I feel like? Or maybe not, I don't know. But like, you can go back to her, I guess, and then you can continue conversing with her. I don't know if this accomplishes anything, but let's stay a while again. Why not? On a new day. Is there anything else we can talk about? You came to my house without any of your technology, right? Unless you count that old bass guitar minus technology, then yeah, I wasn't able to go back and grab much else without risking a run with my parents. I might be getting my desktop and stuff mailed over to me after I move into the dorm though, maybe. How come? I was wondering how you felt after going an entire summer without playing any video games. That was kind of your thing for a while, but you seem to be adapting pretty well without them, all things considered. No, things have just been hectic is all. There isn't a day that goes by where I don't miss being able to sit down unbothered and play something evocative. It was just never worth the risk of actually going back home to get all my stuff. You miss it that much? Absolutely, you know, I'm a gamer. I know my folks are the type of boneheaded people that think that video games will be the kind of thing that I'd eventually outgrow, as long as I wasn't around them. But that's not how that works. Thinking somebody could outgrow playing video games is like thinking you can outgrow reading books or listening to music. I don't follow. Well, maybe it's just because I was never allowed to play them or whatever, but that sounds like a pretty big leap in logic. Are other things even remotely comparable? It doesn't like video games, break up with her. No, well, it's probably because I was never really much of an adrenaline junkie. I didn't play games to feel powerful or cool, at least not most of the time. Before I even got my first game console, I was a total bookworm. Even though I was little, the main reason I played video games was because they were really good at telling stories. Like visual novels. Sure, most of the plots of those first couple games I played were never anything special. But because I was the one in control, even the simplest story was way more engaging than anything I could ever read in a book. That is true. I do agree. You know, I think video games have the potential, you know, as a medium to tell a story that's different from movies and different from books, you know? There's like a certain language, I feel like. It depends on the game, I guess. But that's why I don't like games that are way too cutscene heavy, where it's like it's so cinematic that's basically a movie, and then it's like, well, what's the point, right? That's what most people think when they think of stories in video games. But I don't know, I like RPGs, right? Where you can like it has a kind of different pacing to it, you know, where the story is like, I don't know, it's like told in video game that you can't get from a book, you know. I don't know, kind of like, I mean, the first thing I think of is like a Mori, I guess. A Mori is a very specific type of story that I feel like is made better because it's a video game, you know? Anyway. I think my parents, I think my parents don't really only saw video games as something people like me could get addicted to, though. I guess you can get addicted to anything, technically. But I think the reason for why you play a video game in the first place is what really matters. So whenever somebody hints that I might outgrow them someday, it seems absurd. Like saying I'll outgrow storytelling. It's not something I can even cognate. What kind of games did you end up playing then, if you don't mind me asking? Violet is clearly skeptical of my argument here, so I take a second to collect my thoughts about speaking again. You're talking to a normie. No. My favorite one wasn't even that fun, if you can believe it. It was about a guy who goes to this vacation town to look for his wife. Except his wife has been dead for like 3 years or something, and the town is basically a funder for his guilt. Freaking, that's Silent Hill. Anyway, isn't there a remake? I think I mentioned this before, but isn't there like a remake coming out for Silent Hill 2? Right? It's Silent Hill 2, right? That's the one. Which is a spoiler, by the way. But anyway, you spend most of the game looking for her, avoiding monsters and stuff. It was kind of clunky, but really haunting and beautiful too, like a nightmare from your childhood that you end up remembering fondly for some reason. Huh? So you just walk around town the whole time trying to find your wife? Well, there's some puzzle solving, and you know, you get lost a lot of time. You gotta look at a map. It's like it sucks. Anyway, in terms of navigation, you're right. That doesn't sound very fun, but it really didn't need to be. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. It may not have been very fun, but it was super enjoyable. It was probably the most immersive experience I ever had consuming media. The world itself pretty much swallowed me whole. Right. Of course it did. Of course. So what happened then? How did it end? Oh, you know, there's multiple endings depending on what you do in the game and everything. Where did all that walking around end up taking you? Aha! See? I gotcha. The fact that you're so curious to find out how it ended only proves my point. If you're that curious just hearing about the game, imagine actually playing it. Someone like you will be completely and totally hooked. That might be true. Good thing I never ended up playing any of them then. As engaging as it all sounds, I'm pretty happy with the person I became, gameless childhood and all. So I don't even know the ending of what do you say the name of the game was? You know, just for, you know, just so I can avoid it? Oh, that's not gonna work on me, Violet. You're not looking up the game or its ending later. You'll just have to be okay with not knowing. She pouts, her nose twitching in that cute, slightly agitated way. I mean, you could probably look it up in terms of like Google. You could like, you know, what game was it where you go into a town looking for your wife that's already been dead for 3 years? Probably Silent Hill will pop up. Fine. Alright. How many conversations is there? You know, again, I feel like it's just extra. More. How often do you stay up late, Oliver? Huh? Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night to go pee or something, and you'll still be working on stuff in the living room. You're always back in bed by morning, but you never actually fell asleep together this summer. It was even like that before we started getting serious, too. Whenever I went to the kitchen, you were pretty much always still awake. Is that bad? It's just something interesting I noticed while we were living together. Any reason as to why you're such a night owl, Olive? That shouldn't be too hard for me to answer. But I still don't want her to get the wrong idea. I'm probably gonna sound like a sociopath for saying this, but night is probably the only time when nobody expects anything from me. Even if they aren't necessarily asleep, people just kind of leave you alone at night. Like those times when you went to go to the bathroom, for example. You would look over at me, but you never actually said anything while I was working. Of course, you're burning the midnight oil. I could see that you're busy. Exactly. You're probably thinking something like, well, if he's staying up this late, he must be doing something important. But I was never working on anything that actually mattered, not really. I only wanted some time to recharge. Because people don't really leave me alone during the day. When the sun is up, it's like everybody I know wants a piece of me. It's exhausting. It makes me feel like a commodity. Like I'm nothing more than some spice that somebody added to their otherwise bland day. But late at night, the only thing that most people are hungry for is sleep. So I can finally be alone with my thoughts. That's probably selfish of me, but things are just quiet at night. You know, that's just called being introvert. He's calling us about a sociopath, but no, I think that's just called being an introvert, you know? It's the only time I am able to think straight. That's probably why we never really went to bed together much. I know that makes me a shitty boyfriend, but I didn't want you to think that my bad habits had anything to do with you. It's more of a people in general kind of issue, I guess. Don't worry, I'm not that self-conscious. I had a feeling it was something like that, considering how everybody we know kind of places you in the center of their lives without a second thought. So what do you think about it then? What keeps you at night, Oliver? It really depends. Sometimes it's you, sometimes it's a conversation I had with someone earlier in the day. But on amazing nights, it's nothing at all. No static on the brain, no obligations. Just a liberating, invincible silence. Alright. Well, there's so much conversations we can do here. I feel like we can do this forever, but let's just head out. Alright, that promise to keep. Well, we'll come back next time, I guess. Assuming we fail our goodbyes and, you know, we'll have to come back to Violet and talk about nonsense. Alright, let's see. Can I kill that guy? Probably not. I'm gonna save the game just in case, though. Can we cheat on our girlfriend real quick? Is that a thing we do? Probably not. We don't have any like real choices, you know, that we can make. Sheesh. Ah, we have a gallery image. Okay, it just unlocks the gallery image. Yeah, but doesn't change anything. And then we can say, I mean, technically we're telling the truth now. We already saw Judith, so I don't know if this changes anything. It's in the game. I've seen her. We hung out for a little bit today, yeah. It was awesome. Glad to hear. Never mind that, you know, Judith was like being really uncomfortable at one point. Anyway, I know you probably had a day of Violet Day or something, so thanks for setting aside the time to say goodbye to my sister. Nah, Violet and I didn't actually have any plans for today. You don't say. Interesting. Any reason for that? No, not particularly. It just wasn't something she seemed really worried about. That's bizarre. I thought for sure she'd be the first person you'd be running over to see. That's strange. Ideally, we could have all done something together. That would have made loads more sense than having me run around town all day looking for you guys. Yeah, that's true. Running is good for you, Slim. Keeps you grounded. And besides, you don't want another day where everyone is just sitting around feeling sorry for themselves, right? Doesn't have to be like that, though. But it would be like that. You know it would. We'd all have plenty of time to sort things out once you're gone. But today's your day, Captain. It should be about you. Violet had her time in the sun. You're not worried about her then, Andy? You freaking worry about me eating the wrong kind of peanut butter, but Violet being by herself this long doesn't bother you at all? I only worry about the people I can actually help. And Violet is beyond our help at this point. Don't you think so? Okay. Again, more, because, you know, the implication, not really implication at this point, it's kind of like obvious, but, you know, Violet was apparently kicked out of the group, right? So everyone seems to not be in good terms of her. Very estranged. But feeling my head boil over with rage, I give Andy's words a quick thumbs up and leave the park. Beyond our help. Really? I bet it was Ash, you wouldn't be saying that crap. You'd be doing everything you can to help him. Everything. You'd be doing everything you could. Well, that's it, I guess. A slightly different dialogue there. I mean, there is a way. I think... Well, yeah, skip to the fight. Yeah, skip to the fight. You know what? There is a way. Oh, is it smarter to try and fight? What would it accomplish? You can also save the game before the fight? Yeah, okay. I know what it is now. Okay. I think I know what it is. There's one option. There's one option you can do. Don't fight him, right? So I think I know what to do now. When I think about it for like 5 seconds, I think there's one thing we can do differently. Alrighty. Analysis, defend, attack items. Obviously, all these things don't really do anything. There's one thing we can do, is simply don't engage, right? So, nothing good ever comes from doubting yourself. Right away. Ah! That's right. That was always an option. I don't have to fight him. Unless it was a boss fight. You know, if it was a boss fight, then the option would be grayed out. Now, I don't have to fight him. I don't need to fight him. Even if I could win, what good would come out of it? If Ashton's regressing back to his old self, then the only way for me to help him is not to feed into this behavior. I slide past my friend and run out the door of the diner. You're a fucking coward, Oliver. Ashton's voice is close behind me. What I say next both surprises me and excites me. I don't care. I can't help but smile after saying that, and hurl myself as hard as I can down the endless gray of the sidewalk. Run away! After chasing me around for what feels like an hour, Ashton stops running and collapses on a nearby bench. I sit down next to him, equally exhausted. Yeah, that's just a good jog. Are you sure that's a good idea? I don't care. I can't run anymore. Yeah, me neither. Still getting punched, just give me a bit. For a minute or two, we just sit there, marinating in our own exhaustion. Man, I really worked hard to give this crap up. And now you got me chasing people down like it's high school again. Worked so hard. So why couldn't you just let me have this? I'm not trying to take anything away from you, Ash. Just don't feel great about how I've handled things this summer, that's all. Then you should have kept it to yourself, asshole. Well, you forced it out by feeding all this crap about us being heroes. Kinda hard to keep that much garbage in your system all at once. Damn it. You're so getting punched. We keep looking to the sidewalk as we catch our breath, watching nondescript people doing nondescript things. Also, I just noticed, why is our eyes so much bigger than his? You know, it's like, when you draw people that with smaller eyes, it implies that they're older, but they're not. I don't know. I mean, as far as I know, Ashton isn't supposed to be significantly older than us. I don't think, anyway. I mean, maybe it's implied that he's been held back, you know, maybe because he wasn't so smart, but again, I don't think he's supposed to be significantly older than us. Anyway, this really sucks. I didn't want it to be like this. I only wanted to hang out for a bit before you left. I know. Sorry, man. I wasn't trying to bring you down, but I couldn't keep acting like I was some great hero or whatever. It just doesn't feel real. Ashton shrugs. Real, huh? I didn't know that was the kind of thing someone like you even cared about. Oh well. I guess this was gonna happen eventually. Violet probably only said all the scary stuff because she could tell you were feeling it yourself. Huh? Wait, really? Are you sure about that? A roguish smirk crawls across Ashton's otherwise exhausted face. Pretty sure. After thinking about everything a little more, it makes some sense. You weren't speaking to Violet back there. She was speaking for you during our last meeting. I'm sure she believes a bunch of that stuff about the sirens herself, but you two still live together, right? We do, but so what? So, she probably saw something eating away at you after we killed the seed. And then, after seeing that, she spoke on your behalf so you wouldn't get chewed out in front of everybody. That's surprisingly insightful. It's not surprising, dude. Couples do shit like that all the time. Even with my own painfully limited romantic experience, I still know that kind of stuff is pretty normal. Wait, experience? Well, experience won't be the wrong word. Forget about it. Shit's not important right now. What I'm trying to say is, like, I know we've been giving her lots of crap lately, but Vi is still quite the woman, you know. Take it from me. Most people our age aren't that mature. You're lucky to have someone like that in your life. Someone who's actually into you. So don't screw things up by saying something dumb making her dump you, alright? I look back out toward the sidewalk. You don't really have much of a say in that anymore, unfortunately. But I'd only agree to date me if we both promise to split up after I leave for college. Okay, so that was the contract. That's why they're breaking up. Oh damn, for real? That sucks. I had no idea. Still, well, V's not the kind of person to make you agree to something that weird just for shits and giggles. Pretty sure you two aren't the kind of people that are cut out for long-distance relationships anyway. No offense. Guess not. That's why you're not gonna get yourself a cell phone either, right? He looks over to me and I take a deep, rejuvenating breath to clear my head. Hey, Ash. Yup. If you're gonna punch me again, can you get it over with already? I'm not too big of a fan delaying the inevitable, you know. I say this and Ashen laughs like a drunken warlord. Oh, really now? Is that so? Nah. I've already decided I'm not gonna hit you. I still want to hit something, though, if I'm going to be real about it. Ashen points to a furniture store across the street. Let's go there. I need to buy myself a new pillow anyway. Without even waiting for a response, Ashen jumps up and starts walking over to the store. Why are we blushing? You know, it's like, sometimes the characters blush, but like it's not really romantic. You know, they just blush just because. Still exhausted, but waking up, I follow after my friend. Ashton and I spent around an hour inside the furniture store. As quick as he was to get over here, he seems very deliberate about exactly what kind of pillow he wants to buy. In the end, he picks one made out of some sort of memory foam and pays for it using the money he was going to spend on our food. Yeah, we didn't get like any of the burgers. You know, we didn't eat any burgers. After a while, we find ourselves somewhere around the park. Oh yes, pillow. Just a pillow is just... That's right. Ashton hovers at the edge of an old dock and stares out over the water. You were right about my dad, by the way. Ever since the end of July, he's been completely different. A fully committed father with no self-destructive tendencies whatsoever. He's perfect, absolutely perfect. I plant myself next to Ashton on the dock. So, is what you said before true then? Are you really okay with that? Man, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. It works out great for me, obviously. I'm sure he's happy. But it's not like he was ever a real danger to anyone but himself. He may have brooded a bit too much when he's drinking, but he was never completely out of his mind. Hell, forget his mind. Once work was over, he was never even out of the frickin' house. I think he knew how dangerous that would have been. Even when he was drunk, he was still a real person. He was still his own man. Now it's like a big chunk of his actual brain is missing. He's more of a cartoon character than a real person now, you know? He's like a real anime character. He didn't get to choose if he wanted to be like that either. I chose for him. I chose for everybody. I think that's what bugs me the most. Ashton squeezes the pillow he bought against the side of his body. Hey, do you think what Violet said was true? What we did to their brains, when we killed that thing, do you think it's permanent? I probably shouldn't sugarcoat this. Yeah, I think it might be. Or at least, that's how it's starting to look. Do you think it's fatal then? Damn, Ash, that's... Like, I don't know, man. I sure hope it's not. But even if it is, You shouldn't put all the blame on yourself. I actually stopped and thought about the consequences of killing sirens. I did my homework and discussed what I knew a bit more thoroughly before we went in to kill the seed. If only I didn't rush the main story and then do all the side quests to make sure we get the good ending, then maybe we all could have found a solution that wouldn't have resulted in something so drastic. But none of us said anything, not even Violet. In the end, we all want to wrap around their brains and be big dumb heroes. So we're all responsible for this, Ashton, not just you. He nods. For a while, we both just sit there, looking out at the water. So, if all that stuff is true, then I haven't really grown up at all. I still solve all my problems by rushing in and beating them down till they aren't problems anymore. So if that's still how I do things, then I haven't really changed, have I? That's not true. There's no way you haven't changed. It may not feel like much, but you absolutely aren't the same person you were back in junior year. None of us are. Bullshit. You can't prove that. Well, you aren't shoving me into lockers anymore, so that's a start. I mean... Okay, normal lockers, Ash. And I know it's probably not saying much, but you have way better taste than now that you aren't in high school. At least as far as friends go. But is that even good enough? Is that enough of a change? This was my last summer vacation, Oliver. I had 3 months left, and of all this shit we did really can't be taken back. At this rate, I'll never be the kind of man that I want to be. I know that's a stupid thing to care about, considering everything that's happened. But I'm scared, dude. I'm scared I'll just keep rushing in and making things worse. Forever. I'm scared that all the cool shit I've done in my life is just fiction. I'm scared I'll never be an actual hero. Let me introduce you to a guy named Emiya Shiro. He also wanted to be a hero. Anyway. Segi no Mikita. You know what? I think that's fine. I think it's more than enough that you aren't such a bully anymore. It's enough that you care about your dad, and all of us, and wanted to help the town. Even if it backfired horribly, I think it says a lot that you don't want to be that kind of person anymore. I know we like to throw the word around a bunch, but I don't even know what being a hero actually means. Do you? I mean, I thought I did. But no, I guess not. So fuck it. Fuck being a hero. It's just like with your dad, right? He didn't have to be perfect in order for you to love him, so you don't need to be either. As long as you don't become somebody you despise, then I think that's enough to get you where you need to be. At least for now it is. Maybe. I don't know what I'm gonna do now that all this is over, though. You mean the stuff we did in the underworld, or like, summer in general? I don't know. Both? Yeah, me neither. Given the circumstances, it'd be a little weird if we did. Wait, really? You really don't know what you're doing? I thought you were the only one of us who had it all figured out. Aren't you going to college, my dude? Oh, right. Well, that's what Miss Lawrence says I should do, at least. And Mom and Dad are always on board of all of our ideas anyway, so... You know, maybe you should try and give your folks a call or something before you leave or something. Maybe that would help patch things up? There's no point in me doing something like that, Ash. Patched up or not, some things just aren't worth the risk, you feel me? Don't worry, I'm going to college. That should be more than enough to keep them distracted for a while. This is college. It's so important to go to college. You know, it's just kind of weird compared to like lobotomizing the entire town, you know, like, and then also going to college. It just seems so mundane comparatively. Anyway, besides, I'm pretty sure I lost their phone number back in June. I couldn't contact them even if they wanted me to. And they don't? Not every father turns to the drink due to an all-consuming concern for their amazing badass of a son. Some dads, no, some parents are just kind of there, like broken pottery. They don't feel that deeply. They can't hold anything. They just take up space. It's whatever. Okay? Kind of a strange relationship he has with his parents. I mean, very estranged, I guess. Like, was he disowned? I don't know. Anyway. Or maybe he's not, I don't know, maybe it's not that bad. He just doesn't talk to them. Right. You're never gonna actually own a cell phone then, are you? Probably not, no. Figures. You're not coming back once you leave either, right? I don't know what I'm gonna do after college, to be honest. But yeah, it's not likely. Not very manly to run away from your problems like that, Kim. That makes you look like a coward, doesn't it? What an absolute blessing it is, then, to no longer worry about being a coward. Ashley looks my way and smiles. As a former coward myself, I don't think I can be friends with somebody so wimpy. Some of that might end up rubbing off on me after a while. And in the long run, that's way too risky for me and my old man, know what I mean? Ashton stands up and lifts me off the ground with his uninjured hand. Thanks for that. Yeah, you might be a wimp, but you could easily got it up yourself. No need to thank me, right? No, I mean thank you for making this so easy. I was certain that saying goodbye to everyone was going to turn out much, much worse than this. No? Hate to break it to you, Oliver, but it's probably not going to be this easy for anyone else. Just be grateful that I'm not the type of man to get bogged down by this crap in the first place. Can't say the others would be so cool about it, though. Ashton hooks his arm around my neck and gives me a firm hug. But I know you'll figure it out. Just keep it real. Remember what's real. You do remember, right? Thanks for letting me be a part of all this. Stay cool, you fucking wimp. Yeah, why is he blushing so? If I didn't know any better, this would be like a yaoi BL visual novel. It's just weird that I'd be blushing so much. Yeah, goodbye, Ash. Thank you. Thank you so much. Goodbye, Oliver. Oh, and tell Violet I said goodbye too, okay? As by the way, he's still holding that pillow. Yeah. Anyway. Okay? Okay, will do. And make sure to remind her there's going to be another launch tonight. Should be around 6:45, I think. Pick somewhere soft to watch over her this time, alright? A launch? A rocket launch? Oh, you know, again, it was mentioned in the prologue. Some kind of like launching of a missile. I don't know. And with that, Ashton leaves, flinging the pillow he just bought over his shoulder and walking south towards his father's house. I got journal page. Weep. After saying goodbye to Ashton, I make my way over to the beach, hoping I'll find Violet there. Sure enough, she's in a normal spot, paying something. Hey there, V. Hey there, olive oil. Okay, this is the same dialogue, I think. Big purple bruise. Got in trouble recently. Well, yes and no. Ashton punched me, but it's fine. We worked things out pretty quick. Really quick, actually. He punched you. Price on a cracker, why? We just had some disagreements about the Midnight Guard, mostly. But we talked it out, and I think he's cool with me leaving now. Violet sighs as she places her paintbrush down in a cup of murky water. Okay, I'm gonna need a bit more context than that. Do you think you can elaborate what you mean by disagreements? Fade to black. I spent the next 30 minutes or so telling her pretty much everything Ashton and I did today. Violet listens, clearly over the moon to have me talking normally to her again. I see, then. So if he really forgave you that quickly, then it's likely what happened to Crab Bucket was an extinction burst. Extinction burst? What? Wait, where have I heard that before? Miss Wilson's class, maybe? She taught us about it last year, remember? It's a period of time when a problematic behavior gets really, really extreme right before it gets better. They're more common in children, but for deeply rooted behaviors, extinction bursts can happen to adults too. He kept saying stuff Ashton didn't want to hear, so he needed to get you to stop talking in order to feel comfortable again. So he tried to solve his problem in the only way he knew how. Violet rubs her forehead and sighs. Let me ask you this. You said Ash felt like he was regressing by threatening you, right? Yeah, he kept saying that he worked really hard to change who he was, and didn't like that was making him act the way he did in high school. And this is right after he was done chasing you? Almost immediately. Right. And he didn't end up punching you a second time like he said he was gonna either. Did he punch anything afterwards? No, all he did was buy himself that pillow and then talk with me for a bit at the park. He didn't punch the pillow after he bought it. Okay, why we thought it was just kind of like a weird therapy session, except, you know, Ashton's not here. No, if anything, he spends most of our conversation hugging it. He was hugging it. And then we said goodbye. No bad blood whatsoever. Well, that proves it then. Comfort. So much of the time, that's all any of this is ever about. Ashton probably didn't punch anything because there's no longer value in that behavior. It was no longer something that would bring him comfort or make him feel empowered. So I'm almost certain it was an extinction burst. Extinction burst sounds like a fighting game term. It's like, my character got his extinction burst meter full, and now he can use his super, you know? I don't know. He can now eradicate your species. Is it ethical to be sizing up our friends like this, V? You know, this is psychoanalyzing. Kind of rude. Is it better to ignore how they might be feeling after experiencing something so intense? It's not like I can ask Ash how he's really feeling anymore. An educated guess or two is about all I'm capable of at this point. Besides, that's all they are, guess. I'm not foolhardy enough to assume my perspective on him is a definitive approach to reality. Right, of course not. But the two of you are pretty lucky. As far as conflicts between friends go, I think this is probably the best possible outcome. The best, really. No, there's no way that's true. How come? Well, I spent a second or two trying to put my thoughts into words. Because a longer-lasting friendship would have been way more helpful to him in the long run. Me ducking out of his life this early isn't exactly doing him any favors. I say this, and Violet moves in closer to me, speaking in the voice so quiet, I can barely hear her over the sounds of the ocean behind us. You don't really believe that, do you? Olive, did you know that sometimes a thing is more powerful in the moment right before it dies than it is at any point in its life? Ashton was grateful for what you gave him in that moment, and so he gave you what you needed too. None of what you're going through right now is a disaster. It's a gift. He's giving you the chance to move on. That another one of those educated guesses of yours? What else could it be? We're all just clumsy artisans, trying our best to sculpt this vague stuff of ours into something coherent. And she kisses our shoulder. You know, that's what it looks like. Because it's just the same sprites moving. Anyway, don't worry too much, Olive Oil. Out of all of us, Ashton is probably the best equipped to handle adulthood. Even if he's nervous about it, he's not going to let anything slow him down. He's just that kind of guy. The ground around us begins to lightly rumble. No way. Could it be? Could it really be? I know this feeling. A slow grumbling force mushrooming up from the south. Over there, Olive, look! Violet points down the beach and starts hopping in place. Sure enough, it's another rocket. The boys and girls at Cape Kennedy are launching another rocket into space. That's weird. Isn't it a little too cloudy for a launch? Who cares? Look at it go. Look at it go, Oliver. Haha, there's nothing on Earth that can stop it now. As Violet's beloved construct of metal and flame shoots itself into the sky, her fervor fades into a silent wonder. Rockets, huh? You know, I really hate seeing these stupid things just go on up like that. But I guess it's fine. It's fine as long as you can be herself again. No matter what I may be feeling right now, I shouldn't let it get in the way. Violet should be allowed to enjoy this moment. She should be allowed to be happy. That's the only thing that really matters to me right now. That's the only kind of justice I think she really needs. And besides, I'm plenty happy right now. It's more than enough, just to be able to see her like this. I'm happy, just to look at her. And then, just like that, it's gone. Another lucky fool has freed themselves from Earth's heartless gravity. Don't be, free your soul from gravity. Join the Xeon, Confederacy now. No, wow, incredible. It's been so long, I completely forgot how amazing those were. Oh, I wonder if anybody else got to see it. I should call Judith and... maybe not, because yeah. Oh yeah, right. All my friends hate me. Hey Oliver, I'm really proud of you and everything, but I don't know how the others are gonna end up feeling about this. Feeling about what? Ashton letting you go, mostly. They might get kinda pissy once they hear about it. I think they'll have quite the bone to pick with you once they catch wind from him about what happened. Vi tells me this, and all of a sudden I remember something crucial. So, about that. Funny thing is, after we were done talking, Ash actually told me that he wanted to say goodbye to you as well. But that doesn't make any sense. I'm the one leaving town tonight. You aren't going anywhere, are you? I say this, and Violet's eyes widen in shock. Nani? No, I'm not going anywhere. At least not intentionally. Ashton might be though. Ah, shit. It's already starting then? I thought you need more time. Wait, what time is it? Violet frantically reaches into a bag and pulls out her phone. She fumbles, dropping the phone once or twice in the sand before finally getting it open. Holy shit, it's already 7? That's not right, that can't be right. Violet? We've been talking too long here. We need to get you home now. Violet stands up and violently jerks me toward her. Wait, what about your stuff? Leave it. It's not important. It'll all be there in the morning anyway, let's go. Why? Just trust me, dude. I mean... Look, I'll tell you more when we get home, but right now we need to run. What do you mean? Why should she call us dude? Sounds like, Ashton. Is Ashton controlling Violet's body? Or, I don't know. Anyway. Or maybe not. Maybe she says dude. I don't know. Maybe she just says dude. Please. Weird. I don't know what that is all about. Anyway. I do as I'm told and run as fast as I can back to Violet's house. Violet, normally one to trip over her feet, sprints in front of me with precision and purpose. We make it back to Violet's house just 2 minutes before Miss Lawrence is supposed to arrive. Okay, Violet, we're here. Now what the heck is going on? Why was any of that necessary? We couldn't wait a minute or... Violet, hunched over and panting from exhaustion, slides over to me and puts her hands on my shoulders. Oliver, listen to what I'm about to say very carefully. It really doesn't matter if you don't know what's going to happen next. It's fine. That's fine. You don't have to know what's going to happen. Just keep moving forward until you come out on the other end. Are you talking about college? Yes, whatever, yes. Just listen for a second, okay? I know I might have said some stuff before about taking it slow, but the truth is that you're in way too deep now. You've already made your choice, and now you gotta push through. You need to reach escape velocity. If you stagnate and end up doing things halfway, you might as well be dead. Wait, what? Things might get a little weird from here on out, you don't say. And you're probably gonna end up being very uncomfortable at times. But stay committed and do what you need to do, not necessarily what you want to do. It's the only way you're gonna be satisfied with what's to come. And once you're done, once you're on the other side, once it's over... Judith hands me a sheet of paper after school. Apparently, Her and the rest of the student council want all the seniors to vote on how they do graduation this year. Blue or black robes? You know, they do say black is, you know, is like it works with everything, you know. So it's like it's timeless. So I choose black. Category 1, complete. Whatever that means. And we're back in the main menu. Percentage complete, 29.8%. All right. What an interesting game. There's a lot of optional stuff, I guess, which I guess, you know, you don't need to do, like the journals and like talking to Violet all that much in the beach. So that kind of slow things down. I don't know if I want to cut that part though. So it's still pretty interesting. It's just not super important to the plot. But yeah, seems like I mean, basically, there's something going on here, you know, beyond the obviously the whole lobotomizing the whole town thing. Something even beyond that is happening, and it seems Violet is like aware of that, and like Ashton mentioned something about him leaving. It was weird. I'm not sure what this all means, but I'm interested. But I guess all we have to do is continue once again and see what happens.